Hi to all, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start my presentation by telling you what is not going to be heard from me today here. So I will not try to take advantage of the Valentine's Day, which is in a couple of days, to show you ways to love your onboard and offshore workforce. This is not the kind of love story that we have to discuss here. From my experience, the relationship between our workforce, onboard and ashore, is something more complicated. It's something that needs our hard effort, it's time-consuming, and also demands several sacrifices from both sides. So, I'm not going to stick to my presentation because this can be found online. I would like to express my experience of being on board vessels for the past 25 years and working ashore for more than 8-9 years now. So I choose to work on board vessels not by necessity as my father or my grandfather did. I choose because I was fond of all that lifestyle. I wanted to explore. I wanted to see people working in, let's say, difficult situations and cope up with all the difficulties. So it was a romantic relationship, let's say. Now I choose to work as an MSQ Manager. As I said, I'm having, let's say, the pleasure to meet very often seamen on board. I'm usually visiting vessels, contributing to the training on spot, hearing their issues, and I am doing this not to find out what actually is wrong, but I want to find out how can I assist. So what I observe from all this year is that the industry needs to change mentality, needs to change the way that they are seeing things, especially with the workforce. On board and ashore, it doesn't matter. We have to educate the workforce adequately, not by giving them plethora of information, but giving them something to sustain the relationship between the organization and the working force. So I will do something that, as I said, I will not go ahead with a presentation bullet by bullet. First of all, I cannot see, it's very far. sorry, Apostolos. But I will, as I said, this can be found online. To me, the most important, let's say, challenge that we are facing nowadays is, okay, the work-life balance is something that was always there. When I used to sail, I didn't have so much free time for my own, and I didn't want to have free time, to be honest. I just wanted to perform better, do well, and return back home safely. So the most challenging part from my point of view is the cultural differences that nowadays we have to narrow down between our workforce on board and ashore. And another thing is the aging workforce. It's something that we have to consider, especially from my point of view. I have joined recently Cyprus to motivate young people in high schools. I'm actually going there, doing presentations, talking to them with support of the shipping ministry, the deputy shipping ministry. So we are trying to see whether the new people, the young generation, want to join the venture of being on board a vessel. Actually, of course, you can imagine, but I will tell you, the first question that they are asking me is, how much money can I gain? So it looks like that people are not properly educated of what is all about shipping. They might have heard stories that is very difficult. They might have heard stories that you can gain a lot of money and become, I don't know, rich or whatever, which is not true. So they don't have the real picture. And why is that? Not because they didn't find the proper information to support that, let's say, myth. It's that nobody didn't ever pay attention to what needs to be said exactly, what needs to be presented. So I came up with some deck cadets on board the vessel. They didn't know what they were going to do on board. They don't know what lifestyle has to be followed on board. So it was a difficult, let's say for me, it was a bit challenging. So by this slide, I want to emphasize on that the workforce is aging a lot. We are facing economical pressures, and we are going to face more in the future, to my perception. The emerging technologies are also not assisting us from the office, also from the crew on board, to cope up with the challenges. And the work-life balance, as I said, it was always there. Nowadays, the gap is getting bigger and bigger. Okay, so there are some strategies that we can implement in the organizations to just try to narrow down that gap. However, as I said, we must change our way of thinking. Management has to change the way of thinking. Let's try to see what kind of changes must be done. From my point of view, we have to adapt systems that they are more, let's say, focused on human. So I know, and you might tell me, as Apostolos said, to me the numbers that you showed is something that is very positive. Why I say that? Some others will say, oh, this is very costly, but investing in people is, I think, the best thing to do nowadays. We are investing to ourselves. We are investing to our kids. Why not to invest in our workforce? So there are ways to plan and strategies to follow, but, and as you can see, that's why I said I will not follow my presentation exactly. There is a process to do that. So if you get interested, you can find a way to do it. The most important thing is to trigger that interest in you and transfer that interest to the manager and find a way to do it. So what I have seen crew that are not competent on board, crew that they are demanding more money. This is normal. We are humans. We can ask, and if we receive it, it's a different matter, but we can ask whatever we like. The thing is how to set up the sufficient pool of workforce and how to keep that workforce in line with what the organization wants to do. So it's a mismatching of our goals and targets. So we must openly communicate that to our workforce. We must, let's say, get them involved with what the company has to do with, let's say, the expansion and growth. So they must get involved. How they will get involved? There are a lot of, as I said, the implementation process. To me, you must educate first yourself. We must first educate the management and then find the strategy that will match and start educate our workforce. I'm not talking about training, which training, it's a form of education. There are other ways to educate our crew. There are other ways that we can pass that message and show to them that we really care of what is going on. We really care on how to make things a bit better. And of course, as I said, both sides must sacrifice something. So they have to understand that some part of the sacrifice must be made by them as well. By us, of course, but by them as well. So what I mean, you must set back. What I'm saying to the crew on board is set back, think what you need to communicate, find the proper way to communicate it, and then sit back and see what is going to happen. So now the role of the shipping company is not only demanding performance, demanding retention rates, demanding proper operations and management. The shipping company has to understand that if I want to demand, I have also to offer something. What I have to offer is, first of all, let's change the way that we are thinking. Let's change the way that we are thinking about humans on board. As Apostolos said, humans are very important, not only by numbers, I'm telling you by my own experience. If the people on work or if the people ashore are not doing their job properly, then the organization will have a major issue. So how to combine and how to, let's say, match the workforce on board mentality and ashore, it's something that, as I said, the implementation process of my slide will explain and is available there. And what the company can gain, or the organization can gain from that, let's say, matching mentality, it's also there. But to me, the most important is sustainability and long-term growth of the organization and the workforce on board and ashore. So, I think I'm done.
Thank you, Alexandros.
Thank you very much.